Book summary by Alora AI. Whitney's Kiss. Written by On Vector. Narrated by 11 Labs. Plot for chapters 1 until 3. Chapter 1. In Chapter 1, we are introduced to the main characters in the book, Whitney and Lucky. The plot is built around the romance between them and the tension that this brings. This sets up the exposition or initial situation. The relationship gets a little bit physical right away, and we meet Mrs. Pillay, Whitney's favorite teacher, as she walks in on the two of them kissing in a storeroom. We encounter the first conflict in the plot through Whitney's questions of conscience, as well as Mrs. Pillay walking in on them. Chapter 2. In Chapter 2, the conflict builds when, out of concern, Mrs. Pillay phones Whitney's parents, and we learn about Whitney's situation at home. The incident with Lucky worsens the existing conflict between Whitney and her parents, whose moods are taking strain due to her father's illness. In Chapter 3, we see further character development. We are introduced to Whitney's good friend Lindowy, and we see further development in the romance between Lucky and Whitney. Mrs. Pillay has a heart-to-heart talk with Whitney about relationships and values, and it is not hard to see why Mrs. Pillay is her favorite teacher. We find Whitney's father's health takes a turn for the worse, as his mystery illness puts him in bed with a high fever. Whitney is understandably concerned and tries to find out the cause of his symptoms. Main characters. Whitney is an adventurous 13-year-old girl whose life and thoughts are in turmoil from being in love, struggling with problems at home, and coping with adolescence. We get to know her as an innocent, naive girl who is swept away by the affections of an older boy. She has typical teenage confrontations with her parents. She's concerned about her looks, about what other people think of her, and also about her father, who is ill. Although she seems to be mature in her way of thinking, she makes some immature decisions as she tests the boundaries of right and wrong. She is on a quest of discovery as she learns about love, responsibility, growing up, and coping with a tense situation at home. Lucky is introduced to us as a good-looking, popular high school boy who takes a liking to Whitney. Although not clear to Whitney, it is clear to the reader that his intentions are not entirely noble, as he persuades her into a compromising situation in his secret place. When they are discovered, his natural response is to lie. Dishonesty seems to be part of his character, as he lies to Whitney from the start of their relationship. He is a smooth talker and comes across as quite romantic, writing Valentine's cards and love letters. Mrs. Pillay is Whitney's English teacher and her favorite teacher. She is seen as a strong character and demands respect. She loves her students and takes a personal interest in their lives. She also has strong beliefs and strong values, which she shares with others without being forceful. Her example and conduct earn her respect, and we find Whitney seeking out her advice and input. Mrs. Pillay is portrayed as a teacher with much wisdom and insight, who speaks with frankness and authority, yet in a gentle and caring manner. Themes. Real love. We see the romance between Whitney and Lucky develop, and Mrs. Pillay trying to help Whitney understand what love is all about. Trust. Whitney's blind trust toward Lucky begs questions about whom one can trust and on what basis a person should be trusted. Whitney's parents obviously do not share Whitney's trust in Lucky's intentions, and the trust relationship between Whitney and her parents is threatened. Mrs. Pillay has won Whitney's trust, and we find Mrs. Pillay questioning Whitney's trust toward Lucky. Values. Mrs. Pillay touches on the issue of values in her discussion with Whitney, who has already been asking questions to herself about her actions with Lucky. Even in the moment of passion, we notice Whitney wondering to herself about right or wrong. Honesty. This theme is explored mainly in Lucky's character, whom we come to know as someone with secrets and lies. Thanks for joining us. Join us next time for a summary on the next chapters. And that's a wrap, guys and gals. We've just taken a wild ride through the world of Whitney's Kiss, all boiled down just for you. If you had fun watching and learned something cool, Give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends who love awesome stories. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our next adventure. Your support keeps us going and helps us keep bringing you more amazing content. Thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time, keep exploring books and unlocking the magic of storytelling. Happy reading!